Siren Head is a creature that has become very popular amongst SCP fans in the past few months, and for good reason. The entity is mysterious and very creepy, just like the vast majority of the anomalies in the SCP Wiki. In our last SCP Exploration episode, we explored Siren Head's possible origin based on all the information we know about it. And as promised, today we are going to investigate how the SCP Foundation can contain this mysterious creature. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming Exploring SCP videos. And we plan on exploring the origin stories of other famous SCP creatures, SCP-079 for example. The first step towards successful containment is locating the entity, and this is also where we encounter our first problem. As discussed in part 1 of this video, where we explored Siren Head's nature and origin, Siren Head is a very skilled predator and uses ambient noises and voices to distract its victims. But this also means that the creature can use these tactics to throw off anyone that is looking for it, in our case, the SCP recontainment personnel. Also, despite being very large, Siren Head moves in a near silent way, which would further complicate the SCP Foundation's job. Furthermore, Siren Head is very good at blending in with the environment, so even if we know the general area where the monster is hiding, it would still be very difficult to find it. Also, given the fact that Siren Head uses stealth and deception very effectively, we can assume that the creature is intelligent and possibly sapient. This means that it could potentially outsmart the recontainment personnel by disorientating them and even splitting them up and attacking them one by one. But as we already know, there is no shortage of resources in the SCP Foundation, and the agency has a vast arsenal of the latest military technology. The agency can employ helicopters equipped with thermal cameras to help locate Siren Head, and send an army of MTF personnel so large that Siren Head simply cannot hide from. So to sum it up, the creature is very good at stealth and deception, but this isn't the first time that the SCP Foundation has had to deal with such creatures, so the agency will most definitely find it. And now for the more interesting part, containing Siren Head. As we already discussed in part 1 of this video, the creature often uses its sirens to burst its victims' eardrums by playing very loud noises. This means that if we want to use MTF personnel to contain Siren Head, then we need to deal with these sounds first. And there aren't all that many ways to achieve this. The first thing that comes to mind is using a method that exists in real life: active noise cancellation. This method includes analyzing the unwanted noise's entire wavelength and then using a different set of speakers, at least as powerful as Siren Head's sirens, to play back such a sound so that both sounds cancel each other out. In theory, this should mean that absolutely no noise should be present afterwards, at least in a small area. In practice, however, this isn't the case, and noise cancelling a sound that is loud enough to rupture eardrums from a distance is no easy feat. But if we combine this method with some serious sound protection headgear, we would probably bring down the sound levels enough to the point when our MTF units are safe. This introduces another problem, however. If the SCP personnel are wearing sound protective headgear, then they wouldn't be able to communicate with one another very effectively, making it easier for Siren Head to disorientate them, split them up and attack them one by one. And this isn't the only problem that we have to overcome when it comes to containing Siren Head. Now that we've successfully dealt with Siren Head's main attack, loud sounds, we can begin thinking about containing the creature. But unfortunately, this will prove rather difficult. Firstly, the entity is 40 feet or about 12 meters tall, so its size alone will make this very hard. We don't know the exact details of Siren Head's strength, but given its size, we can safely assume that the creature is much more powerful than an average human. So even though now we can safely have people approach the entity, they wouldn't be able to simply grab it and incapacitate it. According to some of the latest Siren Head attack stories, the creature ripped one of its victim's organs out, so we know that apart from its speakers, it can also use its hands and physical strength to fight. But if we take a step back and think about all the creatures the SCP Foundation manages to contain, SCP-682, a creature that is literally indestructible and adapts to anything that it is attacked with, for example, then surely Siren Head shouldn't be a challenge. We can try to use some of the tactics we have learned from the hard-to-destroy reptile, using weapons for example, but this wouldn't be advisable. This is because we know SCP-682 can survive them and simply becomes weaker as a result of losing its body mass, which helps with its recontainment, but Siren Head could get damaged or even terminated, and we do not want this. The SCP Foundation's goal is not only to prevent SCPs from escaping and causing havoc, but also to study their properties and develop new technologies that could benefit our civilization, which is why we cannot afford to accidentally kill Siren Head. With this in mind, the Foundation could first try to use tranquilizer guns. If this works and Siren Head falls unconscious, then we can very easily transport the creature into one of our containment facilities, have a reinforced chamber be equipped with sound dampening materials, install an active noise cancelling device, and voila, Siren Head is contained. But as with any anomaly, we don't know exactly how the creature functions and if tranquilizers would have any effect on it. In this case, it could be worth using military machinery to physically surround Siren Head and begin closing in on the creature until it has nowhere to go. We could then use a very large and strong net gun to try and physically capture Siren Head. And if Siren Head proves too powerful to be physically contained using conventional means, then we can always revert to the good old-fashioned method of using guns to shoot the creature until it is weak enough to be contained. And if Siren Head proves capable of regeneration and military weapons don't have any impact on it, as with SCP-096, then this whole operation will be much harder. If all the SCP containment procedures have taught us anything, it is that every anomaly has a weak point. SCP-682 is incapacitated by hydrochloric acid, and SCP-106 is weakened by strong light. We just have to begin trying out various methods until we find something that is effective in weakening Siren Head, and hope that the creature doesn't cause too much damage and kill too many people in the meantime. Given the fact that Siren Head hasn't been seen to be capable of teleportation or bending reality, putting the creature in a containment cell should ensure it won't escape, at least for a short while. But from now on, we can't really say how Siren Head's properties would hold up against all of the SCP Foundation's containment efforts. Given its size, Siren Head could prove equal to SCP-682 when it comes to physical strength, and in this case we would need a very solid containment chamber. Also, besides the fact that Siren Head can rupture people's eardrums, we don't know how powerful of a sound it can generate. As most of us know, sounds are physical waves which cause objects to vibrate, and all physical objects have something called a resonant frequency, at which they vibrate in a very efficient way, and sustained external vibrations can add up and build powerful oscillations. It can even cause physical objects to break apart. This phenomenon became tragically evident in the year 1850 at the Angers Bridge, France, when marching soldiers going over the bridge amplified oscillations, matching the resonant frequency, leading to the collapse of the bridge. Given Siren Head's intelligence, it could very well be aware of this phenomenon and could try to use it to its advantage. Yes, its containment chamber would be built in such a way to dampen as much of the internal sounds as possible, and active noise cancellation would further suppress its attacks, But if Siren Head is powerful enough to overwhelm these defenses, then it could theoretically destroy its containment chamber in this way. But in the end, we can't say for certain how Siren Head would hold up against the SCP Foundation's efforts to contain it. Such a prediction requires detailed knowledge of the creature's capabilities, and as we know, all the information we have is based on survivors' stories. So in the end, we will know when the SCP Foundation actually tries to contain Siren Head. And let's hope they do this soon. Siren Head has recently begun killing mass groups of people for sport, after all. This concludes our How to Contain Siren Head video. So what do you think? Would the SCP Foundation manage to physically contain Siren Head? And would Siren Head manage to escape from an SCP facility? Let us know in the comments below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content, as we will be exploring many more SCP origin stories and hypothetical scenarios in the near future. And as always, we will see you in the next video.